Ricky Chapman is dead.
It was always possible we'd talk about Ricky Chapman's death at some point, but I didn't think it would be from natural causes. The one-time bandito who made headlines when the bullet that killed Nick Martin ricocheted into his arm died at Rio Tinto's Cape Lambert iron ore port. He was up there working as a rigger.
Any idea of what happened?
It's been described as a medical episode. Now, I guess every death is some form of medical episode, but he wasn't murdered and the wording suggests it wasn't suicide. I don't actually know what happened though. It could have been anything. Ricky obviously spent a lot of time at the gym, but that's not always an indication of a healthy lifestyle. He died almost exactly a year after he was released from jail for the second, could even be third time. He'd done a 5.5-year stretch for selling meth to an undercover cop back in 2015. He was out on parole when he was in the Perth Motorplex on the night of December 12, 2020. And he was sitting next to Martin because he was going out with Nick's stepdaughter, Stacey Shop. After having bullet fragments removed from his arm, Ricky walked out of hospital and pretty much straight back into jail after breaching his parole by associating with bikies. He claimed to have turned his life around when he got out of prison last April.
Had he?
Well, it's very hard to go completely straight after you've led a life like Ricky Chapman. He was a vice president of the Bandidos and he was a key figure in one of Australia's most notorious bikie dust-ups. The Broadbeach Bikie Brawl, as it became known, erupted on the Gold Coast in 2013. Chapman, who was only about 23 at the time, was part of a lynch mob of 20 Bandidos who were hunting an associate of the Finks bikie gang, Jason Truchet. Truchet was a rival of Bandidos boss Sharks Chiamo. Chapman was one of 18 people arrested after it kicked off at the Aura Lounge Bar.
Yeah, and this isn't the only death that shocked us this week.
A woman aged 70 dies of a suspected heart attack after waiting for hours at Busselton Hospital. What's shocking here is we knew this moment was coming because the delays in the system are at crisis level. Have a look at the hurdles you have to clear to get seen by a doctor if, like this woman, you find yourself suffering from chest pains. You've first got to actually get through to someone when you call 000. Up until very recently, that involved listening to an automated public information monologue about COVID, like you're worried about coronavirus when you're having a heart attack. Then you wait for an ambulance to arrive. In 90% of Priority 1 cases, that should take 15 minutes. But last month, there was a 1 in 3 chance you were waiting a lot longer than that. When the ambulance does get to you, you have to hope there's actually a paramedic on board. You might get a lesser qualified patient transfer officer or a volunteer, because so many paras either have COVID or are isolating because they're a close contact. Once you're in the ambulance, you have to wait for the ambo crew to find a hospital that's not on bypass. If you can find one of those, you have to sit in the ambulance outside the ED for God knows how long as you contribute to the state's record ramping statistics. Eventually you'll make it into the ED. When you get to the front of the line in the waiting area, you get seen by a triage nurse. Then you wait again on a trolley, this time in a corridor, while someone finds you a bed inside a ward. Then you wait on the bed for a doctor to be free. Hopefully you're lucky and you're in the 43% of patients who get to see that medic within the clinically recommended time frame of 30 minutes after presenting at hospital. And once you've been seen by the doctor, who hopefully got the diagnosis right because he or she can't focus properly after working 20 hours straight, you get admitted to a proper hospital ward for treatment. It's amazing that as many people survive as they do.
Yeah, it can take a long time to be seen at the moment.
Everything takes a long time in hospital land. It's going to take a month and a half to complete Amber Jade Sanderson's thorough and detailed investigation to understand what happened. Amber Jade, I know you're still new on the job, but every investigation into a hospital death should be thorough and detailed. The 6-week wait is a joke, but it's not a shock, considering how long it took to finalise the report into Aishwarya Aswath's death.
We should just nuke the system and start again.
Russians can help with that.
Yeah.
Уважаемые товарищи, добрый день.
Ракетного комплекса «Сармат».
That's the RS-28 Sarmat Super Heavy Thermonuclear Armed Intercontinental Range Ballistic Missile. Wow. It's Russia's newest weapon. NATO calls it Satan II.
Hey, devil dude! Down here!
Vladimir Putin had been riding his scientists particularly hard to deliver on the project.
I have one simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads.
He issued a statement saying, "This truly unique weapon will strengthen the combat potential of our armed forces, reliably ensure Russia's security in the face of external threats, and will provide food for thought to those who, in the heat of frenzied aggressive rhetoric, try to threaten our country." The Pentagon has issued its own statement saying the American people should rest assured that we are fully prepared, as they have been since 1951.
We must be ready every day, all the time, to do the right thing if the atomic bomb explodes. Duck and cover.
Serious bit of weaponry.
Makes the WA Police Force's new toy look pretty lame. The cops are getting new super tough vehicles that are called Bearcats. They'll be used when it's too dangerous for cops to go somewhere on foot.
Send in the car.
It's a heavily armoured vehicle used to bash down doors and all that other stuff. And nothing can stop it. Well, almost nothing.
Hit it again.
Rather than use it to rescue hostages being held by Alan Rickman in the Nakatomi Plaza,
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
the cops are going to use it to bash down bikie clubhouses and respond to bomb threats, etc, etc.
The police minister looks pretty happy about it.
We'll have 2 brand new vehicles straight off the production line from America.
Paul Papaleo was being serious and diplomatic, but you just knew he wanted to say,
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
I'm Ben Harvey. For more Up Late, click the subscribe button below.